Okay, so today we're going to talk about free money. Okay, now I know I talk a lot on this channel about financial matters. So we're talking about the government and how they're handling the tax dollars that we're giving them. And I think it's very important for us to focus on things like that. But it's also important for us to focus on some of these opportunities that are out there that not a lot of people know about. And this is something that I've been doing for the last 4 years. Okay, and we're going to talk about this. These are credit cards. Okay, so we'll talk about it. I'm going to show you this credit card. This is a new credit card that's out there. It's a cashback credit card. I think these cashback credit cards are cards that most people should take a look at. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this cashback credit card. This is the Citi Custom Cash Card. Now, let's you know what? Before we even talk about this, I want to give you guys kind of a little story. So let's say you're in a situation where there are two different stores that you frequent. Okay, let's say one store is blue and one store is red. Now, this red store, you go in there, you spend $100. You spend $100 at both stores, but you spend $100 at this red store, and they give you $5 back. For every $100 you spend, they're going to give you $5 back. And so you go to the blue store. Now, when you go to the blue store, you spend $100 and you don't get anything back. Which store are you going to go to? You're probably going to try to go to that red store as much as possible because you're getting $5 back every time you spend $100. And so let's go even further. Let's say at that red store, you spend $100 every week, and you do that for 8 weeks straight. And then that 9th week, when you go in, you spend $100, you're going to get that $5 back like you've been getting every week. And then in addition to that, they tell you, you know what? We're going to give you $200. Just for coming into our store 8 times, we're going to give you $200. But when you go to the blue store, you can go there 8 times. You're not going to get the $5 each time that you go. So when you spend that $100, you're not going to get $5 back, and you're not going to get that additional $200 bonus. So the big question is, which store would you go to? You're going to go to the red store, right? So let's take a look at this. I want to show you. This is the Citi Custom Cash Card. Now, all of the stuff that I just talked about applies to what we're going to discuss when it comes to this card. Now, the first thing that I focus on when it comes to any credit card, does it have an annual fee? Some credit cards do have annual fees. In this situation, this card has no annual fee. So right off the bat, you can get the card, you can have it for as long as you want, and you never have to pay an annual fee. So that's good. Now, the cash back that I was talking about, this $200 bonus that I was talking about, you'll earn $200 in cash back after spending $750 in purchases in the first 3 months. So in that first 3 months, if you spend $750, some people spend that in a month, you're going to get $200 cash back. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about how you can use the cash back. But just looking at this face value, this makes sense to use a credit card instead of using your debit card, because if you're using your debit card, it's just like going into that blue store. If you use your debit card, you're not getting anything. You're not getting $5 for after you spend $100. You're not getting any $200 bonus or anything like that. You're just using your debit card in place of cash. But when you use your credit card, using your credit card, and guess what? You're getting these bonuses. Now, I want to take a second to talk about debit card versus credit card, because some people think, no, I'm going to use my debit card. I'm not going to use a credit card. And first off, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But if you ask me how I spend, like would I use credit card or debit card, this is what I do. When it comes to debit card, I never use my debit card. The only time that I will use my debit card is if I have to get cash out, but that's it. And that's very rare. I use my credit card for all of my purchases. The reason that I use my credit card for all of my purchases is because I can earn points if you have the right credit card. And so if I can earn points with my credit card, it's better for me to use my credit card instead of using my debit card, because I'm not earning anything with my debit card. Now, with my credit card, it's very important for you to understand you need to pay it off every month. And now I'm on a monthly cycle. But before, when I first started, I was paying it off every 2 weeks. Every time I got paid, I would pay off all my credit cards. And that was a good practice for me because I never ran my credit cards up. You never want to carry a balance. So So you always want to pay it off, because when you carry a balance, that's when the credit card companies get you, because now you're going to be paying interest. And that's what you don't want to do. You want to get all the benefits, you want to get all the points, you want to get all the bonuses and all that without having to pay interest. And so that's what I do. That's my strategy. Now, when I was talking about the $5, if you spend $100, you get $5 back. That is what this is what I'm referring to right here. Okay. So you get 5% cash back on your top eligible spend category, up to $500 spent each billing cycle. So that's each month. And so what they're saying here is, if I spend, let's say whatever the category is, and let's go down. We can take a look at the categories. Actually, where are the categories? Here they go, right here. And let me erase this so you guys can get that out of the way. And this is what we're looking at here. These are the categories, okay? So the 5% eligible categories: restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, select travel, select transit, select streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. Now, for me personally, I could really benefit from gas stations, okay? So that's the one that I would be looking at. I want to get 5% back when I go to the gas station. And I have different credit cards, and if you use different credit cards, you're going to learn certain credit cards will get you certain points in certain categories. For me, 5% for gas stations is something that I would be interested in. A lot of these other categories, I'm already getting either 3 or 4% back. So if I use this credit card, that's what I would use it for. Now, that's just me. Like I said, we're all different. We all have different spending habits. And so for me, using the credit cards that I have, the gas stations is the one that I'd be focused on. So let's say gas stations, right? I spend money at gas stations, and at the end of the month, this credit card is showing that that category of gas stations is where I spent the most money. They're going to give me 5% back on that category. So if I spend $500, I'm going to get 5% back on that $500. Okay, so if I spend, and basically looking at, if I spend $100, I'm getting $5 back. If I spend $500, I'm getting $25 back. Now, I know you're looking at it, you're saying, well, $25, that's not a lot of money, but it adds up. We're talking about over the span of a year, you can earn a lot of points. Or if you just want to cash it out, you can cash it out. You can cash it out as credit. You can get gift cards or a variety of different things. You can use it towards travel. You can transfer these points up to another card. So you can get the Citi Premier card or Citi Prestige card. Those are travel credit cards. You can transfer those points, these thank you points. You can transfer them up to one of those cards and use it for travel. Transfer it to different travel partners. Now, I'm going into some stuff that I want to go into more in depth in the future, but I'm just letting you know there are a lot of different options that you have with this card. You don't have to just use it for cash back. Now, me personally, I like to travel, so I would usually transfer these points up to a travel credit card and then transfer it into some of these different airlines and hotels. And so they're just outlining here exactly how it works if you spend the categories just like I explained here. Now, once let's say you hit that category, the 5%, right? So you spent that $500 in the month, you got 5% in that one category. The other categories, you're going to get 1% for every dollar spent. So you'll still get something, but you're not going to get that 5%. But 1% is still better than using a debit card when you get 0%. Okay. So at least you're getting something. You're earning something when it comes to points. Now, when I say points, you're not going to automatically get the credit. It's going towards points, and then you can redeem at that point. So you're not going to be able to just use the card and then you'll have a credit that shows that you have $25 after spending $500. It's not going to be that. It's going to be 2,500 points, and that 2,500 points, 1 point equals 1 cent. Okay, so 2,500 points equals $25. All right, so one other thing I wanted to mention when it comes to this card is it is a MasterCard. Okay, so MasterCard is accepted in most places, but not everywhere. If you go to Costco, MasterCard is not accepted at Costco. So just be aware of that when it comes to what it is. Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You need to understand, okay, if it's a MasterCard, it's going to be accepted in most places, but not everywhere. So the bottom line when it comes to this Citi custom card, I think this is a great card, especially for beginners, especially people who are they don't really know about how to use these cards that generate points. Because what happens a lot is you'll get a card and then you'll forget, okay, I don't know if I can use it at restaurants or use it here, use it there to maximize my points. This makes it easy. You just get the card, you use it wherever you spend the most, whatever category you spend the most in, that's where you're going to get that 5%. Now, once you get to a level where you have multiple credit cards and you start using those different credit cards for different things, then that's when you start picking. And that's why I was telling you, gas stations, I already know that's an area that I can only get 2% back in most situations with the credit cards that I have. So I'm going to use this credit card specifically for gas because I can get that 5% every month. And so you really have to start kind of thinking about things when it comes down to these credit cards. But this is an easy card. This is an easy card for beginners. So if you are out there, you don't have any credit cards when it comes to cashback credit cards or travel point credit cards, this is the card to really look into. And then in the future, if you get this Citi card, you can always get another card, the Citi Premier card or the Citi Prestige card. Those are travel credit cards. And then you can transfer these points. You can transfer these points up to those cards and use it for travel. And in the future, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Now, there are a few different ecosystems to talk about. We have the Chase ecosystem. We have the Citi ecosystem. We have the American Express ecosystem. We also have the Capital One ecosystem. So those are the major ecosystems. You have Barclays. You have some other credit card ecosystems. But for the most part, Chase, American Express, Citi, and Capital One. Those are the major ones. And for those of you who've been watching me for a couple of years, you know that I'm really big on Chase, but all the ecosystems, they work. Okay. You can transfer points with all the ecosystems now. Even Capital One allows you to transfer points if you want to travel, transfer them to these different partners, these airline partners and hotel partners. So bottom line is they're all good ecosystems, but I always recommend if you are considering Chase credit cards, get those cards first because they have some restrictions. It's 524 rule. If you guys check my videos out a couple of years ago, you'll see I talk a lot about the 524 rule and all that, and you'll see why that's important. But basically, you can only open 5 new accounts in a 24-month period. So something to think about. Now, overall, like I was saying, you're getting $200, a $200 bonus after spending $750 in 3 months. So if you're in a situation where you know you spent $750 in 3 months or less, this is something to consider. Now, when it comes to credit, they're looking at about a 650 to 700 credit score. So if you're below that, that's something that you're going to have to consider. One thing that I always recommend, bank with them. Bank with Citi, because what they'll do is they're going to start sending these out to you. They're going to start sending out these mailers saying you might qualify for this Citi custom cash card. This is an easier card to get than some of the travel credit cards that are out there. So something to consider. Now, if your credit is low, that you're going to need to start working on your credit. And I've done some videos talking about working on credit as well. I will post a link at the end of this video so you can check out how to build your credit as well as the 524 rule, because I think those are probably the 2 most important things. If you guys have any other questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.